Hey everyone, welcome back. It's me, Jeff again, and I would like to tell you all a story today. It's one of my favorite stories, and it's actually a modern retelling of a parable that Jesus told back in Luke chapter 15. So here goes. There was a wealthy bank owner living in New York City whose name was Steve. Steve had two sons, Stanley and Jerry. Jerry decided that he wanted his inheritance from Steve early on, like as soon as he could get it, he wanted it. However, Steve gave it to him, and Jerry went off to live on his own. Jerry then decided to go to clubs and parties, and eventually he developed a gambling problem. Before long, he was flat broke and became homeless. He started eating from dumpsters and collecting bottles and cans for spare change. One day, while eating an old discarded banana peel, he thought, my dad's butlers and maids have all sorts of food, and I'm here starving. I must return home and ask for a job as a servant. I'm not worthy to be called his son anymore, but maybe he'll accept me as a servant. So Jerry went home. While he was walking home, however, his father saw him coming. So Steve then ran to him and embraced him, and Jerry said, "Sir, I've disrespected you. I'm not worthy to be called your son. But would you hire me on as a servant?" Steve replied, "My son, you have come home." Steve decided to throw a huge party in celebration of Jerry's return. Remember, there was another son as well, Stanley. Stanley was leaving his job at the bank on his way to visit his father when he heard the merriment proceeding from inside Steve's house. He asked the butler what was going on. The butler then said, "Jerry has come home." Stanley was livid at this point and would not go into the dining room. After a little while, Steve came out and said, "Stanley, come on in and enjoy the party." "No, father," Stanley replied. "This isn't right. I have faithfully obeyed and respected you for years, yet you've never thrown me a party. However, Jerry goes, he spends all of his inheritance, which you gave him, and he gets a party? What gives?" Steve thoughtfully replied, "Stanley, your brother has come home. Of course we're going to party. My son was lost, but now is found. He was dead, but is now alive." So that's how the story goes. The big idea of this story is one of forgiveness. Jerry rebelled against his father and tried to do things his own way. When that didn't work, he returned to his father, who forgave him. Stanley was trusting on his own works to earn his father's favor and holding bitterness towards him when it didn't work. Stanley was unable to grasp the idea of forgiveness. Steve is representative of God. The party in the story is representative of heaven. Jerry is representative of a lost soul that is returning to God. And Stanley is an unregenerate soul who is trusting on his own works to get into heaven. So do you get it? God loves you and is willing to forgive you no matter what you do. You could turn your back on God and he would still come running to you when you turn back towards him. God loves you no matter what. So both of the sons in this are negative examples. So the question remains for us, who are you? Are you like Jerry? Have you turned your back on God? Or are you like Stanley? Have you been trusting on your own works to get into heaven and holding bitterness towards God, who has given you a way to get into heaven when your way didn't work? Just something for you guys to think about today. Thanks for watching.